Welcome to the I Hate Going Home Club. I actually don't belong to this club right now, but I founded it when I was a kid. I grew up with a schizophrenic mom and we were in and out of foster homes for my whole childhood, and the last thing I wanted to do was go home. I put off going home after school and I would stay at work later than I needed to. I did everything I could not to go home. And then when I got home, I just hung out in my room. I didn't want to talk to my mom. I didn't want to see my mom. I just sat in my room and read constantly. So I know what it's like not to want to go home. And the reason I was thinking about this just yesterday actually is I have a camper van. I got a new camper van, escape. Not that I want to escape from my home now, but it is for me a method of escaping and of going off and doing things that I love. So I'm driving home yesterday and I really felt like I didn't want to go home yet. I just wanted to stay on the road and keep driving and keep exploring BC. I found this amazing eagles feeding ground yesterday, Sandpiper Resort near Harrison. Amazing. So I'm driving home thinking, I don't want to go home yet. I'm not ready to go home. And then I remembered, thank God I'm not living with my mom, because that was really bad. This is just, I don't want this vacation ever to end. That's how I feel now. Back then, it was like, I will die if I have to go home. So if you're in that situation, whether you're an adult or a teenager or even like a kid, 7, 8, 10 years old, and you don't want to go home, I know how you feel. It's hard. I get it. And it's especially hard because home really is where you should feel safe and comforted and where you go for refuge. Your home should be a place where you could just be yourself, totally let your guard down, and feel loved and protected. It's not always that way. So that's why I thought I would give you a few ideas and tips on how to make peace at home when you really wish you were anywhere else in the world but at home. So I've got 4 ideas. And the first thing is, and I had to do this, it took me actually a long time to do this, is grieve the loss of the home you never had. Maybe you don't have the parents you wish you had. Maybe you don't have the husband or the wife you wish you had, or the kids you wish you had. We all were born with a yearning for a home, for a safe place to be and safe people to be with. And if you don't have that, that's a huge loss and it's a huge wound that needs to be grieved. I actually felt a lot better when I admitted that I didn't get what I deserved and really kind of mourned it. And that involves like crying and wishing things were different, but letting it work through you and expressing it so you're not gripping it and that you're not angry and full of hatred. The second tip for how to cope or how to create peace when you're at home, if you can confront or talk to the person that's making you feel uncomfortable at home, is to say something very short and simple when they insult you or if they hurt or criticize you. Say, when you say or do X, I feel Y, and it really hurts. So for instance, once when we were setting up the camper van and I didn't know what a torque wrench, I think it was, or some sort of a wrench was. I'm like, I don't even know what that looks like. And my husband was like, how can you not know what it is? And I felt like an idiot. I felt really bad. And then later I realized, well, if I had just used this statement, you know, when you say this about me, it really hurts and I feel really stupid. Maybe things would have been different. Maybe he would have just kept on making fun of me for not knowing what kind of wrench was, or maybe he would have apologized. I don't know because I didn't do it. But it might be worth just trying, just saying, you know, when you say this, I feel like that. And just see what happens. Maybe they'll continue to make fun of you or hurt you, or maybe they'll actually think about it and change. The other thing is to allow grace, because sometimes people don't change that very second. So if you say, you know what, when this happens, I feel terrible for these reasons. They may not be like, oh, I'm so sorry I hurt you right then, but they may in the future feel bad and change how they behave towards you. It's just an idea for someone who is being insulted at home by someone who isn't even realizing they're being critical. Like sometimes I can get into a very critical tone of voice and I don't mean it. Like if I say, for instance, did you take out the garbage? And right then it sounded really critical. But what I thought I was saying in my head was, did you take out the garbage? Like I just thought I was asking about the garbage being taken out. The idea is to sometimes point out when you are feeling hurt or criticized, because that can help the other person see how they're treating you and how it makes you feel. My third tip, this is one that I do all the time. It's I imagine myself as a light in the darkness. So when you're a light, you could be like a candle, flashlight, torch, a beacon, a light bulb, fluorescent light, a lamp, a lighthouse, a shooting star, or you can be just even a little pile of glowing embers, or you can be a huge fireplace and flames. I don't know what your light is, but there is a light inside you. And that, like that old song, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Do that. That's what I do. I imagine myself as a light and I'm going into a dark place. I can't change the darkness. The darkness is going to be darkness. There's nothing I can do about darkness. But the darkness doesn't have to change my light, because darkness doesn't overpower light. Light illuminates darkness. Fourth tip, I think, is to get away from home when you can. Because we're in pandemic and there's isolation, I'm not saying you should go to the mall or do anything in a very public place, but I'm encouraging you to get outside, even if it's rainy and cold. Go away from home. Try and spend some time away in order to rejuvenate yourself, to restoke your fire or relight your light or turn your flashlight on. Go for a walk down the street, go hiking, go biking, go swimming. Just do something that gets you out in nature somehow, because nature is a natural fire starter or light giver. And when you're away from home, take a deep breath. Allow your soul and your spirit and your heart to catch up with you. Give yourself time, not with reading stuff or having headphones on or listening to podcasts, but give yourself time just to come back to yourself. This is a really important way to create peace inside yourself, just to come home to yourself, to your quiet, true thoughts and feelings. And this will bring you a sense of peace. Now, it's really hard for a lot of people to be quiet by themselves. Even me, I love being by myself and I love solitude, but even I find it really hard just to be alone with my thoughts. And this is because sometimes our thoughts are painful and there's grief and there's wounds and there's things that need to be healed. But this is part of the first tip, which is grieving the loss of the thing that you wish you had, or the thing that you had and is now gone. So give yourself time just to be quiet and still, even if it's just a minute or two, just to be quiet and still. Take a deep breath and recenter yourself in who you are. I don't know if these tips are going to help you or not. Maybe the most important thing to remember is that if you dread the thought of going home or you hate going home, you are not alone. I was there back, well, I guess it's been 40 years, 45 years that I hated going home, and I felt it yesterday when I didn't want to go home from my road trip. So you're not alone. You're not alone. Take good care of yourself, because you are worth taking good care of. One thing I forgot to mention, besides the candle, I wanted to get a candle, but you could also have something like this that you love going home to. I think this guy's name is Bruno. I can't remember. I got him from a Big Brothers Big Sisters event because I'm a big sister, and I love coming home to this guy. So maybe have something that you want to come home to, like woof woof, or meow, or whatever sound this guy makes.